Millionaires, how did you make your first $1 million? Not me, but an acquaintance. Waterfront lots for mobile homes. He bought half a dozen of them while everyone was, "What? That's stupid." He bought used mobile homes, in okay to good shape, and rented them out. He's now sitting on about $3 million in land, not to mention what he's made off rents. God damn, I wish I was that smart. I'm pretty sure you can start doing money deals right now yourself. Not being smart sounds like an excuse to not take action. I made my first liquid million by taking small annual distributions from my SaaS company over its first 5 years. It's been 5 years since then, and have continued the practice. I'd describe our company as a high-growth lifestyle business, i.e. we are trying to grow significantly, and GT, 30% YY, but we don't take outside funding. It's slower than VC, but I've personally made much more money than if I diluted my way down to 5% equity in the quest for unicorn status. This 100%. First time, rental properties. Went from 1 unit to 3 units over 4 years, then the 2007 crash where I doubled, and now up to 19 while looking at a purchase to 27. Was slow and steady, mainly with some leaps. Second time, career, IPO as an exec. Third time, consulting and staffing business. Built a best-selling brand, Amazon FBA business. Sold it for 3.2x annual profits plus cashed out all the inventory and working capital. Got that million and still feel financially unsettled. Life in 2020. I feel $1 million right now, instantly is enough to not need to worry about retirement if you're in your 30s or 40s. You can just invest it, but still work. So the $1 million is now your nest egg, so to speak, and you still have to work. But the work is just to cover the bills until the next egg has gotten a bit bigger. It's hard to say which one is my first. First due to start date, I was the 10th employee of a public company, but that didn't actually pay out until the company became public last year, so I didn't really know how much I made until the IPO. First due to a liquid private valuation. I started a company in 2014 that had a valuation multiplier that technically made me a millionaire in 2016. Actual first liquid million. My friend bought Bitcoin in 2012 and was like, "You should too." So I did. Then I bought a few other coins in 2016 before the big giant once-in-a-lifetime spike in 2017. I was too bullish though and lost most of this. Seems like I'm the rare bird on this sub who made it, and a few more just doing regular corporate roles. But got very senior, and married to an individual who got equally senior in her industry. Net, grad school education, performed well for good companies, and married well. Apologies if this isn't something you want to share, feel free to ignore if so, but do you have kids? The only folks I know in this situation are dinks, dual income. No kids. My wife is super high up in a corporate role and we are debating what we do in the future regarding kids. We live in LA and this is a pretty big consideration. Everyone I know with kids, even those with pretty great jobs, is fairly financially strapped. Right now with our HHI and investing strategy, I anticipate us getting there by our early 40s. If you count our house, we're almost there now. I hate thinking about family as a financial decision, but that's sort of the reality these days, especially in a major city. Anyway, sorry for the long-winded question, just something on my mind. Crypto. Cashed out 90% in 2017. Walked away with 2 minutes. Bought the house, paid off our vehicles, and built a mining farm. Lost $100K through a financial advisor. Have like 1.6 left, invested in dividends ETFs, and opened a cat cafe. Miners still mine barely, and I also still take some tech projects from time to time. Still stress about money, probably irrationally all of the time. How I almost made my first $1 million. My friend started mixing his own juice, which at the time was a somewhat new and growing option for vapors. The thing is, the juice he mixed was really great tasting and good quality. He started selling it on our college campus mainly to friends, then local vape shops, and eventually shops around the country. The whole time I was sidelined watching this happen, literally refusing to take part in what is now a multi-million-dollar venture. I now recognize the importance of taking action when an opportunity is right in front of my eyes. Online poker. There is still money to be made, but the boom is over. It rained money on those of us who tried hard and had the natural skills from 2005-2010 or so. Definitely not a millionaire, but before they blocked US players outside of the FON states, I completely paid for my tuition, room and board, food, entertainment, bar tabs, and graduated college with about $60K in the bank to put towards a down payment on a new home by playing online poker. As he said, you can still make money. If they can get some reform to online poker laws, you may see another mini boom. Consulting. High margins, very little risk. Back in the day, it was anywhere from $150 to $200 HR. Today it would be more. Keep in mind this is for management consulting for executives, system selections and implementations, etc. I would then pay consultants on my team roughly half of that. Real estate, and I came from a dirt poor family and enlisted in the Air Force. Bought first property at 23. Work at Fortune 500 companies, index funds investing for 20 years. Started own business during the .com, didn't generate any revenue but gained a lot experience. Started a home service business few years ago, aiming $1 million annual revenue. Pornography subscription-based websites. At one point I had around 20K plus members paying $30 a month. If you have extremely niche content, which isn't listed on free sites, your expenses will be higher and your market share lower, but it's still possible. I'm a civil servant who barely clears $100K a year, but I have a few side hustles and I've been investing 30% of my income for 20 plus years. I also live well below my means. I haven't crossed the 1 million threshold yet, but I expect to later this year. Quit my job, had a bit in savings, a spouse who works to pay for kids' needs and rent, and co-founded a startup. We sold the startup very quickly, split the money equally amongst the co-founders, and we all became millionaires. I made it sound easy, but it was hard, scary, stressful and can do weird things to your self-worth. I sold my apartments in 2006 to a developer who knocked on my door and made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I looked and looked for another investment property and couldn't find anything where the numbers added up. So, I sat on the cash from that sale until the economy cratered. Once that happened, I started dollar cost averaging into index funds just like Warren Buffett told everyone to. Married a millionaire woman. But then we divorced. And I'm not a millionaire anymore. But it was very fun. Everyone's going to hate my answer, but here it goes. Started mining bitcoins in 2010 when they were selling for 75 cents. Over the course of 4 years I mined roughly 2,100 coins. Sold them in 2014 for just under $1,000 each, minus the 20 coins I spent on a pizza the first week I was mining just to test if it worked. Most expensive pizza ever. Nice one, mate. Yeah, tell me about it. I cringe when I think of the stupid shit I've spent BTC on in the past. I bought the shitty PDF ebook in 2012 for something like 200 BTC. So worth it. I am an IT entrepreneur. Struggled for a lot of years. Finally one of my products hit it big. It was all about perseverance and not giving up. People say it all the time, but it actually is the truth. For 23 years, I put the max contribution to my 401k every year, and had my investments in 3 mutual funds with a consistent history of beating the DJA and youngish fund managers. About 13 years ago, running specialized gaming currency exchanges, RMT. At the time, most people focused on larger games like WoW. I focused on breaking the economies of smaller games. Really good foundational lessons on information asymmetry, price discovery, fraud prevention and modeling, and how to run a successful e-commerce business. I got paper millions. First I made a product, then I convinced people to pay $1 million for a small portion of it. That means on paper I own shares worth a bunch of millions. In my day-to-day life I haven't been this broke since the early days of my career, but my net worth sure sounds good, and I hope that one day it will translate into actual cash. Buy as many things as possible that hold or go up in value, tools and art. Avoid spending more money than you have to on things that go down in value, like cars and clothes and cell phones, etc. Don't waste money on any education that can be had for free. Education is taken, not given. The University of YouTube is an awesome resource. Then, invest the money you saved by doing that stuff. Slowly, over a 5-year period of working 12 hours every single day, weekends and holidays included, running and growing my own business. BTW, Millionaire, not so much in cash, mostly in business value and real estate value together. 1. Parents. 2. Then Bitcoin. 3. Then a company I was working at was bought by Google and I had some shares. Worked 9-5, didn't spend much money, saved what I could in ETFs. Used that million to start a business that allows me work the hours I want and travel when I want. Boring, but felt like less of a lottery ticket than most approaches.